So what I think is funny about that story is you're like, then I just ate a bunch of burgers, but I could rewind to last episode and you're like, I really need to lose some weight.
Yeah, I know. But
Your discipline when it comes to that shit is atrocious.
But when you're drinking and you're high, you get so fucking hungry. Like, bourbon makes me hungry.
Honestly, the combination of both would definitely
Mess me up.
it would cause a lot of hunger.
Yeah,
Holy shit, that's fucking pungent.
I was so hungry from the bourbon, which is so common. It's so common when I drink bourbon.
Yeah.
And I leave their lounge just so hungry. And then on top of that, an edible. And that just like dry mouth, hunger.
Yeah.
I'm just like, oh, God, I'm craving food.
Yeah.
And Kale's in the back seat, and he's like, I just want to go home and sleep. I was like, Kale, I'm so fucking hungry. I have to get something.
Where did you get? Did you make burgers or is that where you eat
Oh,
Freddy's?
no. I was at Freddy's. I was so lazy, and I was
So
hungry.
So explain Freddy's. It's basically a upper middle class steak and shake.
Pretty much.
But is it the burger the same type of burger? Like where it's kind of like
It's
thin?
a steak, very thin steak, like fried. You know, like,
Was it
not
good?
fried.
Because I've had people say it's not good.
It's blander
Is
than
it? Than
steak and shake.
That's because Steak and Shake does everything in butter.
Yeah, but
They literally had a burger called the Buttery Wisconsin.
depending on what burger you get, it's really good.
Interesting.
But their fries are better, definitively.
Fries are better. You didn't have like a milkshake or anything? The
No.
only time I ever went there was it was probably only
Oh, God.
it's pungent. It's fucking pungent.
What is this?
It's Heaven's Door. Lauren's dad got it for me for my birthday. I've wanted to buy a bottle of this for a while because I've heard it's really good. But tell me that's not amplified. Dude, it's 5x most whiskeys I've drank.
I just got done drinking a bunch of bourbon.
Like
at the
I'm trying
lounge.
to wait for it to just kind of settle.
I just took a sip and it was so strong.
It's so strong. It is like in your face, sweet, and
What's the proof on this thing?
I don't know. I don't think it's that much.
Anything from Heaven's
is it?
Door.
Knock, knock, knock. It's only 100 proof.
I just got done having
It's
100
really
proof,
not-
but that seems so much stronger.
Dude, it is like the flavor fucking blows up in your mouth.
Oh, God, even the smell of it.
It's like someone tossed a fucking flavor grenade on your tongue.
I'm not ready for Jesus. I think this is what this bourbon's proven. I'm not ready for Jesus.
Dude,
there's-
it has an intensity to it.
I have too much sin, and I have demons, and when I drink this,
Dude, that
it's
shit's
like
pungent.
it's exercising me.
I like the flavors. I think I would like them a little less amplified. They need to take 10 and turn it to 5.
Oh.
Because I like the flavor. Because it's got that honey sweetness,
Yeah,
but it's still got a little bit of that oakiness. It just, it doesn't settle. It's just like, boom.
today's
And
spot-
it honestly, it tastes and burns more than like 100
yeah.
100 proof.
Today's bourbon sponsor is Heaven's Door Double Bourbon Whiskey. Yeah. If you feel sinful, drink this.
Dude, it's,
This will eradicate any demons you have lurking in your body.
you know, a lot of people say like, you try to have sex when you're drunk, they call it whiskey dick.
Yeah.
I think this is the only one that'd probably make you harder.
This is maybe. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. All my pubic hair would no longer be curly. It would be fucking
just
straight.
It's just sticking straight up.
Electrified pubic hair.
Dude, that's got some fucking heat to it.
It really does. It's a very pretty bottle.
Yeah, I love the bottle. And it's fairly like, I don't want to say it's new. I don't think they're new, but like I just remember seeing these bottles finally like hit the shelves, and there's a few of them, Heaven's Door. It is I thought it would be a little bit more subdued than that, and that is like very
Yeah.
in your face.
Yeah.
It's like being face fucked by a beehive.
Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
Hey, 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 hey.
hey, hey. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
Can we all agree that that song exposed how terrible of a singer Axl Rose was?
Knock, knock, knock. Yeah. It's the nasal.
Everybody was like finally like, oh, when he tries to sing a power ballad, he sounds terrible.
It's so nasally and so grungy.
It's not good. It's definitely not good. It's really probably one of his worst efforts.
He probably drinks this.
This probably is his. It's probably
It's
his
probably
whiskey.
his thing, man.
What if this was his whiskey? It wouldn't surprise me if Axl Rose had his own whiskey.
Dude, it could be.
I wonder if it is. Let's see. Axl
Rose.
Rose. He probably does have his own whiskey.
Oh, the smell of it too, man. It's so.
He doesn't have his own whiskey, so the results are Axl Rose and Slash still friends?
It's not as bad
not
now.
his.
Now I'm kind of used to it. But at the first sip, I was like, whoo! I just went from Four Roses to this.
Four
whoa.
Roses is much more balanced and refined. This almost seems like, God, I don't know, man. It almost seems like it probably went to like 10 different barrels.
Like, have any of you just like, when you were younger?
It's Bob Dylan.
Oh, okay.
I'm reading it on the side.
Like when you were younger, like I know we have a lot of millennial listeners, and we're kind of at the forefront of millennials, so we're at the kind of the veteran level.
Yeah.
But I imagine, like, if you've ever gone to like a party, and like, yeah, we got some like fucking 151, and there's all these strong alcohols, and you're like, yeah, I know it's strong, but I'll fucking do it. I don't care. I'll just drink it because I don't want anybody to think
Fuck it.
I don't want people to think I can't take it.
Right.
So you drink it and you're like,
Right.
you're like, oh, you know? But you drink it anyways. That first sip reminded me of that. Where it's
Yeah.
like, you know what?
And you just go, whew.
I appreciate your generosity to treat me to some bourbons.
Right.
But my body is having a hard time dealing with it.
Dude, it is pungent. This needs a few drops of water or an ice cube.
Yeah.
This is the only time I would say any whiskey that I've drank that I think needs to be slightly diluted.
Yeah.
It's just to me, it's too forward.
Maybe our aunt was right, though. Maybe we are going to go to hell. And this is like, this is the like telltale sign to like say, we're not ready for heaven.
Yeah, I mean, I could have told you that when I was 8.
Like, if you went to heaven right now, God was standing at, I think it's called the pearly gates. I'm assuming they're pearl.
Yeah.
Or maybe.
The pearly gates.
Yeah. But, like, what do you think he would say about you in that moment, like, to attest to your sins?
Like if you made it to heaven?
Yeah,
This is
like-
questioning whether or not you actually make it
Like-
to heaven.
Like, this is an application, right? You're taking the stairs up, you're taking the escalator up, and you're at the gates, and it's like, well, before you get in, I just need to talk about some things with you first about your life. And depending on how you respond, you
get in or you
may
don't.
be taking the elevator all the way down.
Right.
You know?
So you're saying there's like essentially what is a school counselor is like an intermediate
Yeah,
that's sitting at a desk that's going like, let's review your transcript
yeah.
and let's see if you're going to go to college or let's see if you're going to get a job
Yeah.
as a Jiffy Lube mechanic.
Yeah.
Right.
Like what do you think what do you think God would say to you in those moments? Knowing you, right?
Knowing me?
Just knowing yourself, not what I know of you,
Right.
but knowing yourself. What incriminating things maybe just cause to not get you into heaven?
I think the first thing would not be a specific detail of my life.
Yeah.
But I think if God were sitting there as like if we were in arbitration, he was
Yeah.
a mediator, he would just go, "What have you done?" That would be the first statement. That'd be the first question. And then he would go, "Your offensive use of the word cunt repeatedly every day." That would definitely be high on the list. I know that's gonna get me into some trouble. I would also say he probably wouldn't be too thrilled in the fact that I question religion every single day.
Yeah.
I think that'd be the most damning. I think that's what's gonna send me on the elevator down.
I think I'm in the same boat.
to level
I
negative
don't think I have.
666.
I don't think I've made any decisions where I'd be like, it's hell worthy.
Yeah.
But I would imagine, even if he was confronting me, I would literally look him in the face and be like, wow. I never thought you exist, but even in this moment, I still don't quite believe it.
Definitely going to hell. You know what I think it would be though for both of us? I think it would be a conflicting conversation, and here's why. I don't tout myself as a good person. Like I would never come out and say self-proclaimed I'm a great person.
It's about humility.
There's an element of humility. What I will say is I always try to do the best specifically for friends and family and even strangers. I always try to act always in making sure that I'm the best person I can be for the people who I'm interacting with.
Yeah.
All the time, even if it's
Yeah.
small gestures, even if it's, no matter what it is. Like there's small things that you can do. There's things that will go as far as like someone really appreciating your effort and your interaction with them. I always I strive to do that.
Yeah.
But then I also say and do some really fucked up shit.
Yeah.
So I think it's a conflicting conversation. I think God would look at us as very conflicting and contradicting people. He'd go, how do you do this 1 second? And then let's go here. Let's go back through the playbook. And you did this 2 years ago. How did you do this 2 years ago? But then you helped this poor little lady across the street and current day.
I remember 2 years ago, we had almost like blizzard-like level snows in Kettering.
Yeah.
And I was behind a lady in my Civic, and she was fighting to get through the intersection of 4 and Smithville.
Like her car wouldn't take her through.
It wouldn't take her through, and she got stuck in the middle of the street.
Right.
I got out of my vehicle when it's 5 degrees out. I wasn't wearing a jacket because I was literally going to work in a meeting, and I didn't have anything. I was like, I'm just going straight from my car to a building. I'm not going to bring a jacket. I got out of my vehicle and pushed her car through the intersection by myself.
That's what I'm saying. So God would reflect on that moment, and then he would look at other moments and things that you say or do, and he would go, what the fuck?
But then there's these moments where he would have been like, you know, the thing about you, Chris, is that I've never once heard you pray, maybe occasionally. Not very, very rarely.
Probably pretty disingenuous,
maybe
too.
condescendingly.
Right.
The only time I've heard you say God is when you're climaxing. And let me read the transcripts here. On August 26th, 2020, I have it cited here that you said, God damn it, when you were climaxing. You know? And he's like, that's the only time I've actually heard you say my name.
Or that one time you prayed when you were in bed with that person and you said, God, I pray to God this isn't a man.
Yeah.
Like that instance too.
God, I hope I don't have a baby. Yeah. But that'd be the only two things. But I've done a lot of things that I've never really talked about. And this is the first time I think I've ever told you that story.
Interesting.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't get on Facebook and I don't say, I helped a nice lady today.
Yeah.
I helped push a lady's vehicle through the snow.
Yeah, like small gestures or even things you do, you got to wait for people. You do them because. And here's the thing. You know what I don't like? I don't like when people say I did it because it made me feel good. That drives me nuts. Like you're giving yourself some. I donate to charity because I feel good when I do it. I do those things because I want someone else to feel good, not because I feel good about it. I want someone else to feel good. I want it to make someone else's day. I want to do a favor or something special for someone else because I want them to have the feeling, not that I want to have the feeling. I always thought that was so strange.
Isn't God supposed to teach you that by tithing, right? T-I-T-H.
Oh, yeah.
Tithing.
Yeah.
That when you give up your money to God, your life will become better.
Right.
Right? Maybe that's true. I've never done it.
You know, a lot of people, it's 10% of your salary.
Yeah, and sometimes more, depending on what you make. It's like...
And those institutions they're tax-free. So think about that.
But even when I donate, which I have done, even when I didn't have money, I would donate. I remember, I won't say well, no, I will say it. Well, does it really matter? No, I'll just tell you I donated money. I'm not here to brag. When I donated money, I still felt bad about giving up that money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
It's like I could have really used that.
Yeah. But you realize someone else could use it more.
Right.
That's my whole point in saying that it shouldn't make you feel good. It should make someone else feel good.
I still didn't feel great about it.
It's like a self-sacrifice.
Yeah.
Like no one wants to give up. Like there was an example of a dog. Oh, this is so bad. This was like 2 years ago. There was a dog through the organization I got Thomas from, and the dog was set on fire.
Holy shit.
And she was very, 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 very severely burned, and she had to go through a lot of surgeries. The only way to get the surgery done was by donations.
Yeah.
And that's an instance where I didn't even think twice about it. It's like, I have to do this. And at a time of which, like you said, I could have really used that money. But then I look at this dog and I go, I need this a whole hell of a lot less. And I want to make sure that I am able to give something to the dog's survival, which the dog did survive.
Hey,
so
cheers to that, bro. That's such a good thing, though.
But here's the thing. I don't donate anything to humans. It's all animals. I don't donate the shit to fucking humans. If it's like part of like a charity drive we're doing for work or for something, I will.
Yeah.
But in my own private charities and the money that I give away every single year is only to animals. It's all animal donation. I mean, that's probably another conflicting thing God would look at and go, "You're a very charitable person." To canines.
To animals.
What are you doing for humanity?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think the devil would say? Let's just say they hit the down button on the elevator, and you go to floor -666. What do you think when the devil's there to escort you around and give you a tour? What do you think he's going to talk about?
I think he's going to be encouraging. I think he's going to be like, you know what? You've got potential.
I see it in you.
I see it.
Well, how would this not make a great cartoon?
It would be a great cartoon.
God damn, I'm playing it out in my head. I'm like, this would be the most incredible cartoon.
He's like, I think you got potential. You just need a little bit of encouragement. Now, when you were on Earth, whatever little things I could do to encourage you, you didn't do it. But I always believed in you.
Yeah.
You know,
like I could see it.
He's like, I don't know. Maybe the devil's like the dad that you don't want to admit you like.
Yeah.
You know? But he's like the cool dad.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck, son, you want to do it? Fucking do it.
I could see that.
You know, do it. You want to do this? Then fucking do it. I ain't gonna stop you. You know, I feel like he's the cool dad. I think the God dad is a little bit too of the more like prissy, like, you know, I don't even know how to put him. Like, he's like, you know, if you're watching the movie, was it with Mark Wahlberg and Will Ferrell when they're dads?
Good Dads?
Good
is that what it's called?
Something like that.
Good. Maybe I'm thinking of Good Burger. What's it called? Something Dads.
Yeah, something dads, right?
It's actually a really good movie. The first and the second one are really good.
You guys know what I'm talking about. God is like Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg.
Just like a really sweet, encouraging father.
Yeah.
But doesn't have...
Overly nurturing.
Right. Doesn't have thick skin.
Right. And then you got Mark Wahlberg, who's like the devil.
Yeah, the bad dad.
The bad dad. And
the bad dad, but the good dad.
But kind of a good dad.
Yeah.
He's like a good dad, but he just influences you a little differently.
Yeah, agreed.
I think the devil's like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I could see that. I do agree with you. I feel like that's how it would be. I feel like the devil in his own way would be pretty nurturing, but I think nurturing borderlines manipulation.
Yeah.
I think if I were to go down to hell, I think like the first thing the devil would do is just tell me just like, oh my God, you're going to love it here. Like Mussolini and Jeffrey Dahmer over there playing cards. You guys are going to be best friends. I feel like that's how my first introduction into the underworld's going to be. Like a loose prison. Almost like a Martha Stewart prison.
I was just about to say, could you imagine seeing someone down there who you never would have imagined being down there?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. There'd be tons. There'd be tons. You're like, how did Selma Hayek get down here? And then like you find out like she fucking clobbered someone with like a steel-toed boot or some shit.
Yeah, like killed a person.
Like you would see, you know who you would see down there? Sorry if you can hear my dog whining. He's so cute though. He hears the dogs barking, so he's freaking out. Quincy's down here with us. I'll take him out in a minute after we take a break.
We'll
so
show
everyone
you
can
him.
see him.
Yeah.
Who's the guy that plays Ferris Bueller's Day Off? Ferris Bueller. What's his name in real life?
Oh shit. You asked me too quickly.
God, what's his name?
I want to look it up now.
Ferris Bueller guy.
Yeah.
What the fuck is his name? Oh, that's gonna drive me nuts.
Yeah, we gotta know it now. It's bothering me.
You remember there was a day where like if you couldn't remember something, you couldn't look it up.
Yeah, you couldn't. You'd be like, well, I'm gonna sit here all fucking day, and I'm not gonna know who the fuck it is.
Yeah. Matthew Broderick.
That's it.
So Matthew Broderick killed a guy.
What?
Look it up. He fucking killed a guy in a car accident. He hit a dude and fucking killed him. Yeah, that's a real thing. So I feel like you would see Matthew Broderick down there. I think he would be like the guy you'd be like, what is Ferris Bueller doing down here? He seems like such a good guy. And then the guy was like, well, he killed a dude. So
yeah.
But like he would be the nice guy in hell.
Yeah.
Like he'd probably be the guy that gives you a tour and is like super excited about it. And he's like, just you wait till I take you this way.
Yeah.
You'll love it in the gymnasium.
Have you seen Cerberus yet? I'm like, no, Matthew Broderick. He's like, well, listen, I know Cerberus is kind of like the demon hound from hell that watches over the gates, but he's a really sweet dog.
Yeah.
And like, come here, he'll let you pet
Just
him.
let him sniff you.
Just let him sniff you.
You can for sure see Matthew Broderick in hell. 100%.
Yeah.
Who else would you see in hell?
Oh.
Who would you see in hell that you would be surprised at first, but then you would make the connection afterwards and you go, yeah, that makes sense.
Convenient Christians.
Oh, dude, all of it filled. There's probably a whole section for convenient Christians in hell.
I know too many Christians.
And I bet they're all going to church while they're there.
And they're all going to church. I know too many Christians who plead faith.
Oh, yeah.
But are the most narcissistic, selfish,
pieces of shit.
Bigots.
Yeah.
Pieces of shit people
Literally
on this earth.
Tens, if not hundreds of thousands.
Yeah. I know too many of them. And it's like.
There was a guy I used to work with that was like that.
Dude.
He would preach religion all the time and then would admit cheating on his wife.
Yeah.
All the fucking time.
Yeah.
Oh, I drove down to this state to meet this lady, and I'm like, wait a second. You brag about being in like your church softball league and that you run the front of the house because you know a little bit about audio and you dedicate 3 days a week to the church and to God, and then you just admittedly said, I met this really hot woman online. I drove all the way down to Georgia to fuck her.
Yep.
Huh?
That's what I'm talking about. Convenient.
Tons. There's tons of them.
Convenient Christians.
It's just a mask. I think part of that too, and I've always said this about certain parts of religion, is that I think a lot of people lack willpower or lack, in many instances, the ability to confront themselves and their own demons. So you use this scapegoat of religion to kind of mask all these inefficiencies about who you are.
It's like if I plead my faith to a deity,
like it's okay for me to
that
be a
it's
dickhead.
okay for me to do these things.
Right. It's one giant cover-up.
Because I'm following a certain belief standard, following some type of
It's a way for
God.
you to reconcile all the bad things that you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, it's like confession, right? It's like, well,
Right.
I killed 20 people today, so I'm here in confession to let you know that.
Right.
I've killed 20 people. It's cool, right?
Right. Yeah, no.
And, like, I imagine, like, if you were the...
But that happens.
If you were the priest in that
Right.
Catholic church, hearing those confessions, like, what do you do, dude? Do you, like, fucking call the police on them? Or do you go, like...
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what the protocol is for that.
Like, because I imagine confession is you...
Is it like the same thing with being like with a counselor or like a therapist?
Right, where it's like confidentiality, right? Like
Yeah.
when you speak to someone, like,
I think if you openly admit murder, though, I think that's one of the no-nos.
Well, I don't know. You know, I've seen.
But I don't know
I've
in
seen the
religious
movie,
context.
I've seen the movie Daredevil with
also a
with
movie.
with
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck, where he plays a terrible blind person, and he has these moments.
Just plays himself.
Yeah. He does, but he goes in the church and he'll like talk to like a priest about like fucking beating the shit out of someone practically to death.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's cool.
Ben Affleck plays blind Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does. I mean, the same thing with the show.
Like if I heard someone come in and like, I just about beat someone to fucking death because I was so upset, and like.
Right.
They were in the front. They were in the line in front of me at McDonald's, and they took my order and then but paid the prices that I had for my order, and I
Right.
got their bullshit order. I grabbed my order and I cut him off right before we got out of McDonald's. I got out of my car and I pulled him out of his fucking car seat and I beat him half to death. Like, give me my fucking sausage egg McGriddle and. And like, can you just imagine like what would you do as a priest?
I don't know.
Or you're like, listen, son, because I feel like they all call them sons.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a priest, whether they're older than you or not,
call
it's
them
like
son.
you call them son.
Well, because you're the son of God.
Right. It's like, what do? Do you just like, oh, that puppy? Do you just like say, well, that's fucked up. You probably should just keep that under wraps.
Yeah.
Or do you go like, I'm sorry, I gotta turn you in.
Or you just say like, dude, pretend you never said that. Throw up 10 Hail Marys and let's call it a day.
Right.
I don't know how else. Like, I don't know procedurally what else could make
Right.
sense.
I feel like
Yeah.
there's so much shit that's kind of thrown under the rug.
Yeah.
It's like, well, listen, you go to this church. We don't want any bad press, so we're just gonna ignore this for now.
Right. Yeah. That could be it.
That could be it.
I mean,
too.
luckily those places aren't like filled with microphones and shit. You'd hear some fucked up shit.
You would hear some fucked up shit.
Someone should make that a reality show. Confession tapes.
Oh my god, in the booth.
Yeah,
Oh my
confession. Just
God.
call it confession booth.
Oof.
That would be crazy. That should be a thing.
That should be a thing.
You'd hear some fucked up shit. Like you'd hear like the old housewife that'd be like, I banged all the teenager kids down the street.
No
We had one
shit.
giant orgy.
No shit.
We need to take a break.
Yeah.
Let's take a break.
I feel demons.
We have oh, what a tangent. We have a review today of a newer cigar, one that I would say is hot to the market.
Came out July, man.
Yeah, very recent. So excited to break that one down. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back to you guys in just a second. Hang tight.
I'm gonna go pray. Bro, heaven's door, it awaits you.
It doesn't seem as
Appetizing now?
no, it doesn't seem as rich.
Oh,
and as
it doesn't.
bold as it was
It
before.
mellowed out a bit.
Yeah.
It did mellow
I
out.
think it was just that first taste, man. I was like,
That first hit
"Yowzers."
was something else.
It was, man. It was full and oof. Really got my buzzers going. Why do I have so many text messages?
I have a
Jesus
ton.
Christ.
You know, the thing is when you record these episodes and when you're as I want to say as popular as myself or my brother, you find yourself with 100 text messages that you have to respond to.
I had 28 total.
Holy hell, who is texting you?
Family, friends, the Sultans of Smoke group.
Oh yeah.
Should probably talk about that real quick.
Let's talk about it because it's important.
Yeah.
And can I actually do a quick little promo
Yeah.
before you talk about that?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't, but I want to do a little promo, a little housekeeping.
All right, hurry.
Hey, before we get into this review, I want to remind you guys of the Mil Diaz Crown Head cigar that is coming out towards the end of this month, which we have about a week left in August. But the cigar also may come out the first week of September. But we'll let you know that we have reviewed the Mil Diaz by Crown Heads, which you can actually listen to on episode 162.
Yep.
And I think it's something you should look into. The cigar will be coming out soon, and we want to constantly keep you reminded of that until the cigar release comes out. So please check out episode 162 and keep an eye out on Crown Heads on Instagram to be, informed of when it will come out. Because I think you'll be pleased with not only our review but of the cigar. So just check it out.
Check it out.
Check it out.
Try it out.
Try it out.
So you probably don't know this because you're remiss from literally everything.
Well, I'm also not included in text message, which is probably wise because I am one.
Yeah, but you know why you're not?
No. iPhone.
You don't
That's
have
true.
a fucking iPhone.
But
You would have to start the group
that's
for
true.
us all to be in it.
The other point to make is that when it comes to text messages,
You're horrific.
I live in a world that is driven by technology and communication.
Yeah.
Myself, though, if it's not work related, you can fuck off.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will take my sweet ass time.
You're the worst texter.
Before I text you back or even respond to your phone call.
The worst. Literally the worst.
I want to hear it. What's up?
Yeah. So Danny Vasquez is no longer with Romacraft.
I heard that. Yes.
Yeah. So Friday, tomorrow is his last day.
Yeah.
I'm not going to speculate as why. I still need to listen to Sultan's Smoke podcast where he announces it. He texts everybody the other day and goes, "You guys need to listen to this podcast." And I said, "Okay, is it out right now?" And he goes, "No, it'll be released till tonight," which was like 2 nights ago, and I still haven't listened to it. So my whole thing is I will be listening to it tonight, although I know what has occurred. Part of that occurrence sparked the idea of, hey, we need to do another live. So Amy and I are going to connect tomorrow, which is actually technically Friday, but everyone's going to listen on Monday, and we're going to try to set up our next live. I think there's some good creative things we can do with these ongoing live sessions that, in my opinion, I think could be cool if they were inclusive of one guest. Like, it would be cool to have a panel of people.
Like one random guest outside of the group.
Right. So if you think about it, there's no one that's really done a platform that's a panel of people that invite one person on
Yeah, that's true.
to be interlaced and intermixed into the conversation.
Like Hollywood Squares.
That's what I'm saying. Like you have an entire panel of people with one person who's kind of inserted into the situation of which they can talk about things topically. We can talk about whatever they do related to the cigar industry. I don't know. There's all kinds of creative things that we can
Whoopi?
do. You can be Whoopi.
I'll be Whoopi.
I want to be Alan. What's his name? Alan, the guy who died.
Rickman?
No, he did die. No, Robin Thicke's dad. Alan Thicke.
Alan Thicke.
Yeah,
Okay,
he was on it, right? He was Hollywood.
I think he was,
wasn't
yeah.
I want to be Alan Thicke.
Okay.
But yeah, so a whole bunch of stuff going on there. Danny no longer at Romacraft. Can't wait to actually listen to their episode and hear him talk about it. Because my whole thing is like, Danny's not the kind, like, he's got to have a plan, right? There's a plan.
Yeah.
So what's the plan?
I think the plan is he wants to make his own cigar brand again.
I will say this. The FDA regulatory process was definitely lightened up. There was some big news that came out in terms of like, you know, your ability to produce cigars and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And the judge found that the FDA's regulatory process was egregious, to say the least, in favor of the premium tobacco industry. So I think it's going to open a lot of doors for possibilities in terms of what people can do. Danny did have a brand already previous to him joining Romacraft. I think what Romacraft probably did was help elevate his experience in the industry, his understanding of the process as a whole, not just the tobacco, right? And distribution and logistics and sales and so on. It probably created a platform for him to do his own things, or to maybe start working with another organization in a different capacity. Who knows what it's going to lead to? The only thing I can say is I'm always excited for the things that he does. And I told him the other day,
he's moving back to Florida.
Is he?
Yes.
I didn't see that.
Yes.
He's going from Texas to Florida. Oh,
going back to Florida.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right.
Because what I was thinking about too, and I said this to him openly in an Instagram comment because I wanted certain people to read. I said, I would argue that one of the only reasons I support Romacraft is because of Danny Vasquez. So,
which his wife replied,
there it is. But anyway,
I'm almost positive I did read he was talking about moving back to Florida.
we'll get a chance to talk to him, obviously, and I need to listen to the episode because I'm obviously far behind on that, and I feel bad about it. But my life's been crazy too. So
We love you, Danny, and
yes, of course,
all
one
the
of my
best
favorites.
to whatever future endeavors hold, and I'm sure we'll get that nitty gritty.
Yeah, I'm super stoked about it. It's
Yeah.
an appropriate time for another live session, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
I've been yearning it. Anyway, we've got a review today. Chris, what are we reviewing?
It is the shortest, slightly pudgy,
Kind of.
Hotcakes by HVC.
It is. Now, I will say this. I have been on HVC's nutsack for the past 3 months.
Yeah.
The first HVC I had was the Black Friday special of 2018, and I did not like it. I just wasn't a fan. And I started smoking their stuff again because of Dave from cigarclub.com.
Right.
He gave me a few HVC stuff when we met up with him, and I was just like, yeah, I've had them before, and I was like a huge fan. I started smoking again. I was like, fuck, this shit's good. Majority of their stuff's made at Aganorsa.
Right.
Surprise there.
You sluts.
But this cigar has had, and HVC is not a huge company. I mean, it is as boutique as it gets. But this cigar,
young owner.
This cigar has had a ton of fucking hype around it. Like this is probably I would say one of the biggest releases in this particular period of time. If you say like a 3-month window of summer, this is probably one of the hottest releases to come out this summer.
Yeah.
So it's been smattered throughout subscription packs. It's been hyped up online. It's been advertised online. It's a big HVC release.
Yeah.
And I was interested in this particular cigar for one very reason.
What's that?
And that is Aganorsa traditionally produces Nicaraguan puros. If you're gonna contract with Aganorsa, you're getting
going
pretty
puro.
much Nicaraguan everything.
This one, the wrapper's different.
What is the wrapper?
Mexican San Andreas.
That is what intrigued me about this cigar. And we'll get into the components of the cigar, but before we do so, Chris, how do we break these down?
Oh, brother, I'm glad you asked. Each cigar review is broken down into 3 main categories: construction, burn-in, flavor. To throw in a little extra kicker, we see if the cigar is worth the price for a possible bonus or deduction. And then finally, we average out our individual reviews, giving you guys our total recommendation. We don't do numbers anymore. I hope you're not mad. I'm not mad. If you're mad, well, this isn't high school. This
Tough
is
shit.
an elementary. You know?
I don't have to give you a reason.
We don't have to give you a reason. You want an A? You're not going to give a fucking A. You're not going to get one. You're going to get a recommendation.
You're gonna get exceeds expectations.
That's basically what it is. You're going to be like, what's exceed expectations? Well, we'll leave it up to your imagination.
It's an elementary grading system, and that's how we like it. As we already mentioned, blended at Aganorsa, this is the HVC hotcake. Boasts a Mexican San Andreas wrapper, Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan filler, which aren't a surprise there. We smoked it in the Laguito number 4, which is 4.5 by 52. So it is a short, pudgy it's a short Robusto, essentially. It comes at a very, very competitive $8 price point.
What I love about it is the history behind this cigar.
Do tell.
Well, what's interesting is Reiner Lorenzo is the owner of the cigar. He was born in like the 80s, so he's about our age, right?
Well, what if he was born in 81? We were born in the late 80s.
Well,
So he wouldn't be our age. He'd be in his 40s.
I think he's 1 year older than me.
Okay.
I think. But what I found so profound about this cigar is that the story about how he came about the cigar is quite unique. Very much more unique than what I've ever seen with any other cigar, whether it's what Steve Saka has done, whether it's Crown Heads or Roma Craft, or even, who's the one that's the Mason ones?
Hiram and Solomon.
Hiram Salmon. There's always these interesting stories, or even protocol, like with
The
police.
Mason one.
Or even like protocol, which has like a historically more of a civil servitude type of background.
Right.
This one's a little bit different. So Reiner, who founded HVC, it actually starts with a simple trip to his local fast food joint. In fact, this cigar actually came about when he was going to his local McDonald's one morning, and he actually ordered hotcakes and sausage.
It's one of my favorite breakfasts. It's the only breakfast I like from McDonald's.
And
Over 1 billion served. He was one of them.
he ordered it one morning with him and his wife. I don't think he has a wife, but we'll say for this story he does. And he orders the hot cakes and sausage, and he so quickly was so hungry that he wanted to stop off next to one of the one of the close parking spots in McDonald's. He's like, I'm so hungry, I just want to enjoy my breakfast before I get home. And so he parks into the nearest parking spot, and he begins to eat his hot cakes and sausage. And he's so enamored by the flavors, the savoriness, the saltiness, the spiciness, right? That he's like, what if I could create a cigar that had all of these pronounced flavors? The spiciness, the savoriness, the bitterness, the saltiness. And it got him thinking that he was going to go back to his factory and he was going to say, listen, guys, everybody, are you paying attention? I want to make a new cigar. I want to do something that's so different than what anybody else is doing, but I don't want it infused, but I want to make something that tastes as close to what I can think of as the hot cakes and sausage from McDonald's. A lot of people thought it was a fucking dumbass idea. Like, Reiner, there's no way we can make a cigar taste like hotcakes and sausage. And he goes, you shouldn't dare to be dreamers. We are going to spend the next year and a half making a cigar that tastes exactly like hotcakes and sausage from McDonald's. The question is, brother, did he accomplish that goal?
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
All right. There you have the backstory. Let's break it down. What do you think about the construction?
Dude, so even in its shortiness, much like a sausage link, it's a pretty dense cigar for what you're getting. Mm-hmm. It is a nice, dark, rich, chocolatey wrapper. It's a dark brown wrapper. I will say the cap structure was a little bit messy on mine. I don't know if it was with yours, but it was a little messy on mine. But that said, it almost had a furry touch to it, which is, I think, indicative of Mexican San Andres. It's kind of that toothy, textured wrapper, you know? So, like it got a slight fuzz on it, you know?
Right.
With a nice mild sheen, with just minimal black veins running through it. Now, this cigar coming in at a 4.5-inch cigar with a simple HVC band, it has a big old hotcakes plastered on it. It's a simple cigar when you look at it.
Yeah.
It's going to be unsuspecting from appearances. When you think of all the flashy cigars that come out in this industry, from Drew Estate and CAO with this fucking new one that looks like a goddamn femur called the Bones. You know, like it's a humble look. It's a small look. But I thought the construction was pretty on point. I thought it was a great construction.
What I liked about the cigar itself is that from a wrapper type, Mexican San Andreas, to me, is usually always indicative of a very dark, rich brown.
Yeah.
Mine was not that. It had spots of dark, rich brown, but for the most part, it was lighter than most San Andreas wrappers that I've seen. It was actually very marbled, and I have a picture of it that I'll post online so people can see it. It was actually pretty crazy. I go, this is not indicative of a San Andreas wrapper.
That's different than mine.
It caused me to go, wait a second, is that? There's no way that can be a San Andreas wrapper. Caused me to look at the cigar a second time and go, am I smoking what I think I'm smoking? And I was. It was really cool to look at. Construction overall to me was pretty flawless. I didn't have any cap structure issues or anything like that. Cigar was nice and firm. It is indicative of, I would say, if you're one of the premium contractors or you're one of the premium brands for Aganorsa rolled cigars, you're likely going to have a heightened expectation of good quality construction. Mm-hmm. And that was exactly this cigar. And I know Aganorsa would, of course, argue that we do great construction for everybody. No, you don't. You don't. Just admit it. It's fine, but you don't.
And I will say, based on your description of the cigar, that is different than what I experienced. Just maybe it's just the wrapper itself. Maybe that leaf is different.
Could be.
But
Maybe mine didn't have a Mexican San
but
Andreas
you saw me
relief.
smoking mine.
Yeah, I know. I did.
It was real dark.
Vastly different from mine. I can show
Super dark.
I will show you a picture of mine. You go, whoa, that's weird.
Yeah, mine was super dark.
Very different. What do you think about the burn?
Burns very evenly. Like the thing is when you're dealing with vitolas like this, right? Like these short, stumpy robustos. That's about the way I could put it. With this really thick wrapper, right? I've yet to experience a Mexican San Andreas wrapper that is thin.
Right.
They're always thick wrappers. They're oily wrappers. They're toothy. They got a lot of grit to them.
Right.
It burned really evenly on the wrapper. In fact, then you start to notice that like the Nicaraguan binder and the Nicaraguan fillers, you start to see that whitish, light grayish ash, right, which is indicative of those Nicaraguans.
Right.
It burned really evenly.
Right.
For this Vitola being a 4.5 by like 52, right? It was about a 2-3 puffer, right? 2-3 hits, you get a good mouthful of smoke, man. Not once, and this is what's great about when these small Vitolas, people, it's so rare, especially at this ring gauge, like a 52, it's so rare for you to ever have burn issues.
Right.
You know, it's like, it's so short that you're not going to have you're not going to have issues with burn when it comes to the length, and it's so thick that you're not really going to ever experience burn issues. Like, you could take your time with the cigar, even being
probably
a 4.5.
one of the least challenging Vitolas.
Yeah, you could take your time with this. This is not a Vitola where you got to be huffing on it every 30 seconds because you're in fear that it's going to go out on you.
Right.
This is one you could take your time at. And with a 4.5-inch smoke, you can probably baby this for a good hour and a half, depending on how fast you smoke.
Yeah, I think you could.
And you wouldn't have any issues with it. I thought it was a great smoke. No outages, nothing. It burned clean all the way through, bro.
I did have a high level of consistency with the burn of mine, which I enjoyed. Obviously, that's one of my biggest pet peeves. Is it's just when I have consistency issues. I smoked an Aganorsa Selección yesterday, a natural, and that motherfucker had so many issues. I literally went for a walk and I was with my wife and just looking at this thing, and it just it burnt like fucking dog shit. One of the best flavored cigars. For sure, in terms of like good morning cigar with a cup of coffee. It's one of my favorites to smoke, but I smoked it last night because I wanted something a little lighter, and it burnt like fucking garbage. And I was like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, if there's anything that's indicative of like bad burn or so many challenges, like this cigar was it.
Yeah.
So it kind of puts things in perspective of cigars that have minimal challenges or none at all. For this one, it was super consistent burn, which I suspected, and like you said, in such a short Vitola. However, I had an obnoxiously tight draw that I could not get loosened up.
Oh, damn.
Could not get loosened up. It really hindered the entire experience of the cigar, which I was really frustrated by because this one was so hyped and because I've really enjoyed HVC cigars here recently, where I find myself smoking them more and more, seeking them out, excited to smoke a different iteration of something I've never had before, or even new releases like this one. I just had a lot of challenge with the draw overall, and typically, I would say 7 out of 10 times I can loosen it up to where it's bearable. Yeah. Sometimes it loosens up on its own, but I really feel like the fillers in this cigar were just so overly dense and just so overly packed. They were just bunched. Too much tobacco, and from a filler perspective, was bunched specifically at the head of the cigar. It was causing me too many issues. I have a draw tool of which I tried to utilize. I just tried to just soften up the head a little bit. Sounds weird when I do it like that. When I go, I'm going to soften up the head.
But you like squeeze it and you move it left and right.
Right.
You try to loosen up the filler.
Try to loosen that filler up just a little bit, just to get the airflow through. And I could not, for the life of me, get it to loosen up any more than, I would say, it was less than adequate. I'll put it that way. So not overly thrilled about the burn overall. And I guess the good news is it's only a 4.5-inch cigar. I've been trying to do that with a 7-inch cigar. I would have put it down.
Yeah.
But not my favorite in terms of that.
Yeah.
So, arguably the most important part of our review is the flavor. Chris, what did you think?
Hot cakes and sausage. You want savory. You want a little bit of spice. a little bit of saltiness, right? This cigar, from the initial 10 puffs, was every bit of that. It was very peppery in the beginning. It had a lot of bitterness and a lot of savoriness that came along with it. And I'm like, dang. Like in my initial review of it, I was like, the strength of this cigar, like when you talk about like full bodied and like, mild, medium to full bodied, I was like, damn, this thing is full fucking bodied coming off the gun. It does that. And I think for some, you'll enjoy that. But very quickly, there's moments of just a flurry of sweetiness. It gets us to a certain sweetness. You're like, oh, that's nice. But the bitterness and the savoriness still kind of is there. The one thing I'll say is that this cigar does smooth out quite significantly, about 25% through it, which is only a 4.5 inch cigar, people. So, about an inch or so. This cigar changes, I would say, quite drastically from the first initial part of this cigar. So you're gonna get a lot of like sweetness and creaminess and some savoriness with just some like mild bitterness for the rest of the cigar. It doesn't change up a whole lot after that, but it was a pretty pleasant flavor. I thought they were pretty pungent. The end got a little bit harsh. Like got a little bit harsh with the bitterness at the end, but it didn't really discourage me too much. I noticed it like when I was about down to the 1 inch mark. I was like, okay, it's starting to burn like a little,
Right.
little harsh, overly bitter, overly spicy. But I really enjoyed the flavors. Honestly, Reiner, if you were going after the experience that people would come away with when they're eating their hotcakes and sausage from McDonald's, I think you accomplished that in the first 10% of the cigar. And I think you might have accomplished that at the end of the cigar, just a little bit.
Yeah.
But in the middle,
the meat of the cigar.
it was a creamy cigar. It was pretty
Yeah.
smooth for the most part. The spice subdued quite a bit, but I did like it. I like the change up. The change ups that you get in a 4.5 inch cigar was, to me, pretty substantial. There was parts of it I really liked, and there was parts of it that I was like, it's decent.
Right.
But overall, I thought the flavor was enough for this seasoned palate
Right.
to be like, yeah, that was a fun flavor.
Yeah.
And I spent like a good hour and 20 minutes smoking it. So I liked the flavor. I thought the flavor was good.
I really like the flavor on the onset. I think what I like the most is the fact that it was the San Andreas wrapper. I like that bitter earthiness. I like the savoriness that the wrapper provided the cigar. To me, I could have used that particular thing, even if it was a one-dimensional cigar. I would have loved that flavor all the way through.
Sure, yeah.
What I found is that as I progressed through the cigar, specifically after I got past the first third of the cigar,
Yeah.
everything kind of subsided a little bit.
It did.
And I agree with you in terms of, I don't want to say the element of creaminess, but just the element of like the subtleness. That everything kind of just leveled off a little bit. And there was actually a point in the cigar, and this is something I wrote in my review. I said the flavor kind of tamed out a bit, and then I go, wait, where did the flavors go? And then it caused me to question whether or not maybe my palate wasn't refreshed enough. I'm like, am I fighting a fucking cold here? Have I smoked too much today? I'm like, no, I haven't smoked anything today. It's the only cigar I've had. Why am I not getting what I feel like I should be getting out of this cigar?
Too much pancake, not enough maple syrup.
Maybe that was it. But I was just wondering, like, did my senses turn off? Did my nose stop working? Did my taste buds stop working?
It was the middle of the cigar, man.
I was questioning me as opposed to the cigar because of all the hype around the cigar and the fact that it has the Mexican San Andreas wrapper and the fact that it was rolled in Aganorsa. My expectation was this is going to be a full-flavored cigar. I'm going to get a lot in this. And I just didn't. I got a lot up front, which I really loved, and I got a whole lot of nothing in the middle. And then, weirdly enough, right at the very end, I got this, like, creamy nuttiness that I really liked, but as quick as it came is as quick as it fucking left. and I go, huh.
Did your spice kick in?
It just wasn't enough for me to get
Did the
excited about
spice
at the
kick
end.
in right at the end as well?
I didn't really have any elements of spice at the end. Honestly, it just was kind of a dull. It was just a dull experience.
It was the middle part. Yeah, it was for sure that middle part where it was like,
just like it was so anticlimactic.
up.
It was so. I don't even want to say bland. It was just void almost. Where I go like, did I just time warp through most of this fucking cigar? Like, what happened? Why am I not experiencing what I anticipated I was going to experience? And really just whatever I got at the end and that quick hello and quick goodbye from that creamy nuttiness that I actually quite enjoyed, it just wasn't enough for me to get excited to the remainder of the cigar.
Yeah.
So I think the cigar was really good up front, and I think it had a lot of character in the beginning. And I think a lot of that just begins to erode away once you get to the halfway point. And it's not even that it gets confusing. Again, it's just void of anything meaningful. And that is kind of challenging to me. And a 4.5 by 52 ring gauge, I actually really like the Vitola of the cigar. I like that Vitola a lot. It's a short fucking stout Robusto.
Yeah, for sure.
Which I really like that Vitola because from a time perspective and just from the meatiness of it and just anticipating that you're not going to have a lot of issues with it gets me excited about that Vitola. I actually find myself going to those short Robustos more often.
Yeah.
The 4.5 by 50s, the 4.5 by 52s, even a 4.5 by 54. I really like those. It's just I couldn't get on board fully with the flavor. Had I experienced in the back end kind of what I experienced on the front end, which I really, really, really enjoyed. I mean, that was like top level fucking great flavor right at the get-go. It's almost like having a horse in the race that comes out of the fucking gate fast and it's leading the pack, and by halfway through the race, it just ends up in last place. It just pulls back. I'm not running with the Usain Bolt. I'm running with the guy that doesn't know how to pace himself.
Yeah,
It was a mispaced cigar. Which left me a little bit frustrated. What did you think about $8 price point? Worth it? Not worth it?
Listen, for a company that can come out at an $8 price point for a 4.5 by 52 Robusto, I've seen plenty of cigars in this bracket at the $10 range with an extra half inch on it. Seen plenty of them. That's kind of like the de facto standard. With it being a half inch less, I can kind of see why the price point's $8. It's not something that exceeds where it is, where it's like, yeah, that's well worth it. Because like you're getting a very dense cigar, and you truly are getting an hour and probably 10 minutes to 30 minutes extra on the burn. But I felt like, based on the flavor and the size, I thought $8 was very appropriate for this cigar. Very appropriate. No bonus, no deductions.
I would have to say I agree with you. I think even though I didn't really like the flavor throughout at least half of the cigar, an $8 price point is what I would consider to be below industry average. And
Right.
obviously there's huge variances, but if we talk about in terms of the stuff that we smoke most often,
Yeah.
$8 is below what I would say is the $9 average price point.
Right.
Understanding that this is a shorter Vitola, so it does get a little bit of a, it is more on par and more pace for that. I do think it was appropriate. I almost put it at a delta just because of this particular experience. However, this is one I'm intrigued to try again. To me, this is one that I feel like needs redemption, and only because when I see the hype around it and I see what other people get out of it, and of course I kind of yearn for I want that same experience.
Right.
Why wasn't it as good for me as it is for all these
Were
other
you
people?
having a bad day?
I think there's something wrong with me. I think it was my problem. Admittedly, I'm saying I think it was my problem. I think I had an issue. Something happened.
It's possible.
And I don't know what happened, but I feel like I need an opportunity to smoke this again before I personally make a final judgment on the cigar, because I really like HVC. I love their cigars. I love the flavors. I really have only had a couple bad HVC cigars, and here recently I find myself smoking them more and more, and really, really, really I feel like they're finding their place in my humidor more often.
Yeah.
So I want to give it a little bit of a redemption opportunity, and we'll see what happens. But I'd say overall, I wasn't completely thrilled by it, but I do think it's worth the price point.
Yeah.
We should probably mouth to each other what our scores are. Or better yet, maybe you tell me what your recommendation is, and I'll give you my recommendation, and we'll just average it out for the site.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna mouth you my number because I feel like that's important.
Okay.
All right. For those who are watching, don't look at my mouth.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
What? What did you say? Okay.
Yeah.
I think based on Corey's personal judgment versus mine, I think this cigar is a decent smoke to try.
That would be correct. It is a decent smoke to try.
It is a 4.5-inch cigar. It's 52 ring gauge. It's basically like a like a short pudgy Robusto.
Yeah.
I think
That's exactly what it is.
I think if you enjoy the first onset of flavors, you're gonna love that, but you're gonna maybe be disappointed with the majority of the meat of the cigar.
Yeah.
If you don't like the onset of the flavors, you're gonna like the cigar because you're gonna like the middle part.
It's almost like I'm saying that it's partially worth it because the flavors up front are so good.
Yeah.
Just you're gonna be a little disappointed, I think, somewhere in the halfway point. That's just for me personally. Again, this is all subjective. Some of those people, I don't want to say people like void of flavor, as I've articulated on this particular review. But really, what it is subdued. It's subtle. It's kind of dulled a little bit.
Yeah.
That's what the middle of the cigar is, and part of it is like it's not even that it's bad. It's just nothing. It's nothing. I don't know what it is. It isn't anything, and it's not anything.
It does mellow
weird.
out quite substantially in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It was weird to me, and the impactful flavor that you get up front. And man, my God, I don't think I've ever been so excited to smoke a cigar rolled in Aganor's that a Mexican San Andreas wrapper. I'm not saying that they've never used another wrapper type before, but arguably they are kind of indicative for using over and over again all Nicaraguan tobacco. So it was really cool to have the Mexican San Andreas wrapper with the Nicaraguan binder, Nicaraguan filler combinations. I was excited for that. And really, again, what you get up front is so good. It's just not matched with anything meaningful, really, to me, through the remainder of the cigar, except a little bit at the end. So
yeah,
I just found it challenging, but it's definitely one that I'm intrigued to try again. It's like, I need another one of these so I can make a final judgment.
Yes, perhaps in the near future, my brother, me and you shall travel to the local McDonald's and get ourselves some hotcakes and sausage.
Dude, we should get hotcakes and sausage. I haven't had McDonald's breakfast in probably 10 years.
Really?
It would make me shit so bad.
I used to get the steak, egg, and cheese bagels.
I remember that. I used to get the sausage
They
biscuit.
don't carry them anymore.
That's because no one liked them.
I loved them.
You were the only person.
Oh, I loved them.
They're fucking just a regular sausage biscuit. Oh my God. Dude. I'll tell you this right now. I'm happy that there's things that I gave up as I got older. McDonald's is definitely one of those things I was happy I gave up.
I went to them so much at like 3 a.m. after going to UD in the ghetto, to like going to house parties, like frat parties, to go there and get like breakfast or like burgers. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to be real with you. I'm looking right in the camera right now. Can you see me? Look at this face.
Can you see me?
This face is the face of someone who, when I eat just regular McDonald's, I feel fucking sick.
Yeah.
After
it's
I eat
bad.
it.
It's really bad.
I feel sick.
There's not anything on their menu I think I can eat minus a parfait that doesn't make me fucking just absolutely nauseous.
I feel so off after I eat it.
I feel like when you eat it, your body is literally saying, if you haven't had it in a while, your body's going, what is all this foreign shit?
No,
meaning like all the preservatives and steroids and the non-meat meat. It's like, what is happening? It's really, I think it's your body rejecting foreign things.
That's very
I
possible.
think it's what it is. It's just like half of this isn't real, and as your system mechanizes against
Yeah.
this fucking foreign food. It just goes, wait a second. It alerts your system and says like, foreign objects have invaded your fucking digestive system. You must combat them immediately.
Let's go get it right now.
Star Wars is happening in your stomach, essentially.
Let's just go get it right now.
No. No. What would you get if you get McDonald's right now? What'd you get? I already know what I'd get. Off the dinner menu specifically.
I get a triple Big Mac. I'd be like, throw on an extra patty. I want a large fry, and I want a 20-piece nugget.
Okay, you ready for mine?
Yeah.
I want a big and tasty.
Ooh, yeah.
Everything on it but no cheese. I want a 10-piece nugget, a large fry, and I want a chocolate shake.
Ooh.
That used to be my go-to after we'd play music.
Doesn't that sound good,
Dude,
people?
the Big and Tasty is the shit. The most underrated fucking burger from McDonald's is the Big and Tasty.
See, now
It's so good.
See, now I want
It's like a Whopper Light.
Now I want McDonald's, but I know as soon as I get in my car, I'll be like, fuck that shit. I'm not getting McDonald's.
No, you'll just get Taco Bell instead.
Probably.
Gross. All right, well, let's conclude this.
Yeah.
It's episode 164, chugging right along. We'll have some reviews coming out of some new cigars. Some that I already anticipate are probably not going to turn out well. But we're going to fucking power through them, baby.
Yeah.
I've already reviewed a few. We're going to power through them. I'm going to continue powering through them. So as we've already suggested before, one of the things that Chris and I are really going to challenge ourselves to do is review new cigars to the market, either in podcast form or for the website or both. We're going to be putting things out there that are essentially new releases. So we want to make sure that we're giving you guys our opinion, context to the cigars, reasons to kind of understand what it is or what it isn't before it actually hits the shelves or right as it hits the shelves. So that's going to be our commitment going forward. We hope you guys enjoy that format and that process. With that being said, you can visit our website to look at recent reviews, to listen to all the podcasts, or even to watch our videos, as you hopefully are doing right now.
Yeah.
You can go to www.hotticketweekly.com for all of that.
Yeah, you could watch me get fat every week.
Yeah, Chris just
I
gets
get
inflated. He
fatter
looks
and
like a
fatter every week.
looks like a fucking goddamn inner tube.
I've already started slimming down though. I've been really diligent, minus a couple hiccups.
Minus a couple Freddy strips.
Minus a couple hiccups. I've been really diligent about eating smarter because by the time we get to this point next year, I'll be so fucking cut you'll want to fuck me.
I doubt it. It's funny that you say that. It's just I hopped on because for there a little bit I was trying to get thicker than Snickers.
Yeah.
I was eating a lot and I was working out. I was lifting a lot. And me getting thick just means me putting on like 10 pounds, maybe sometimes reaching 15. My goal was 170. I didn't get where I wanted to get in that particular time frame. I was about 3 pounds shy, but a pretty good overall effort. As I've begun to start the process of slimming down again, because I don't like to lift and eat too much over a long period of time. I think body needs balance. So what I did was I started fasting a little bit longer. My fasting window is longer. I've been watching what I've eat. I've already lost like 8 pounds. Like just fucking.
So you're working out before you eat?
Oh, I fast before I I always do fasted cardio and fasted workouts.
So this quickest way to burn fat. For any of you who are curious, like, don't eat before you work out. Like,
I love fasted cardio or fasted workouts. They're
Eat
my favorite.
afterwards because your body will burn fat to basically push you through your workouts. So, but if you got food in your belly, it'll use that.
Yeah, for energy.
It
just depends on what you want to look like.
That's true.
If you're looking to
just
lose weight,
that's just a health tip.
Sure.
But if you want to lose weight, eat after you eat, like right after you eat,
Also,
or after you work out. I mean,
just do you.
Just do you. If you want to be fat, that's fine.
Be fat.
Be fat. I'm not gonna judge you. I love you either way.
Yeah, me too. A little less though.
You can't see your dick. I don't care.
I can't see your dick either, so it's all good. All right, let's conclude episode 164.
Sounds good.
We'll be back at you next week with episode 165. See you, everyone.
Bye.